few days to go. Yeah, hold on. Settle down there, Beaverhead.
Whether you up north of Gardendale or down south past Vestavia, turn up your sound and listen well, cause we got something to say to you. Curry and Klapow, they in the know. Their topics cover A to Z. So whether you drive fast or slow, just sit on back and feel the beat. Oh no! It's Curry and Klapow.
Good morning. We got 5 days to go. It is December 20th. I hope you've got most of your stuff done for this week. If you're like me, you're trying to tie up some loose ends, put some fire outs, and getting ready to hunker down for a beautiful... I love the fact that Christmas is on a Saturday. It means our holiday of obligation is a 2-for-1. I love that. Shame on you, man. Dolly Parton has set a Guinness Book of World Record. Not one, not two, but three. We'll talk about that coming up. Also, an interesting story from a transgender gal. And also, we have some different types of trends that are going to be happening in 2022. I mean, if you're not reading up on this stuff, on the NFTs and the Bitcoin things and just where the metaverse and all this stuff, I mean, you're going to be lost in the dust, man. I know, right? We'll give you all the details. We'll give you the poop coming up here in just a few minutes right here on the Kurre and Klapow Show. I think I was... like 16, I think. My brother, Jeff, who I consider one of my best friends, we've done a lot of things together. We know a lot about each other. He's about 8 years older than I am. And he would always kind of show me, well, he was at his 20s and I was 16, and so he was kind of like, what's going on? You got laid yet? Doing any drugs? Da-da-da-da-da. And I was kind of a good boy. I was an older boy, and I was like, no, not really. Kind of taught me a lot of the basics of the world, street sense, smarts, stuff like that, and I love him for it. I hated for him at the time. Drove real fast, he was a dude, right? And now I kind of see the entire canvas of his life, and I just love him to death. And so when I was like, I don't know, 14 or 15, he gave me that album, Diary of a Madman, for Christmas, and my dad about lost his shit. He was like, "What is that?" It's like, "I'm giving Tony a Christmas album." Christmas. It was one of the first albums. I think Wild-Eyed Southern Boys was one of my first ones, and I had a bunch of K-Tel things. But it was the first album I had actually of like one artist. and of course, there's Ozzy with blood all over him and candles, and he's like, "What? Get that out of here." I was like, no, let me. And man, I listened to it from start to finish, and I wasn't really an Ozzy. I wasn't into the Ozzy thing, man. I was into the David Firth kind of Christian music kind of thing back in the 14, 15-year-old age. And I was like, it transformed my life, and I thank him for it. It's fantastic. It's Tony Kurre Radio, the Kurre and Klapow Show. We're on from 7:30 to 9:30 every Monday through Friday morning, again from 6 until 8. Dr. Josh is off for the rest of the year. He's been sending me pictures of London. He's over there seeing his boy, and I'm so happy he's gotten a chance to spend some time with his son, who's going to the University of Oxford. They're eating crumpets and drinking tea and going to bars that opened in 1254. God, our country's so young, man. When you go to the UK or London or Britain or anywhere but here, you realize just how young we are. We're like, in dog years, we're probably about, 17. But like in real years, we're like 3. I mean, we're still getting up on our knees, man. We're still trying to hold on to the couch and walk the length of the couch. That's how young this country is. He was hanging out in some pub last night that was open in 1254. And I'm like, what? It's open till 1254. He said, no, it's been open since 1254. I said, it opened at 1254. And he goes, no, you dumbass, the year 1254. I was like, holy crap. It's amazing. Could you imagine having a bar that's that old? Anyway, we got some great stuff we're going to get into. We'll go Facebook Live here on the Tony Kurre page in just a few minutes. DamonJohnson.veeps.com. I want you to check that site out. Coming up here in 3 days, he's having a Damon's Holiday Hangout. That's going to be, and it's great for a very worthy cause, too. Go to DamonJohnson.veeps.com. And we'll have some details on that. Then, of course, the Damon Johnson first ever Rockin' New Year's Eve or Christmas Eve. We may do it New Year's Eve, too, because the show airs on Friday. The Christmas Rockin' Eve show is going to be unbelievable. He's taken 6 of his favorite Christmas tunes. I've surrounded it around 15 other tunes, and it goes for 2 hours. So if you're looking for some great Christmas music coming up on Christmas Eve this Friday at noon and 8, you can hear it right here on Tony Kurre Radio. Also, Dolly Parton has made news. She's amazing. He actually had her on his show this past Friday as one of the top 6 acts that aren't in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She should get in next year. And also a very interesting story about a woman who is transgender. She is trying to figure out, we've had this show idea many times about at what point do you allow your secrets to come to the surface when you're just meeting somebody? We'll talk about that. And also some 2022 trends coming up. We got a whole week of killer shows. Coming up at noon and 8 today, it is a Dark Side of the Monday is what it is. Dark Side of the Pooch. Dr. Rab Stewart of the Rossbridge Animal Hospital is going to be on with us at noon and 8 for a brand new show. We'll talk about pet care and more. Tomorrow night, Adapt or Perish with Alex Hubline and Dr. Josh Klapow. It's all about business adaptation. When I first thought of this idea, I thought, I don't know, this is going to be something. And I can't stop listening to it. As a business owner, as a person who wants to succeed in life, the analogies are fantastic. You'll hear that show at noon and 8 on Tuesday. It's Adapt or Perish, Adaptogent, formerly GT Software. It's their day on Tuesday. Thursday, Blues Almighty, Austin Hanks is going to be back on Thursday. I love that show. He goes out of his way, I think, to play songs that we don't play anywhere on this radio station, which I absolutely love. He's like, what can I play? I said, it's your show, dude. Play whatever the hell you want. It's all blues music. It's killer. And then, of course, the Damon Johnson Show at noon and 8 coming up on Friday. But on Wednesday night, we do this little thing called Live Wire Wednesday. I do co-host that show, or I host the show. I do it with Angus Young. And it is our most listened to show from an international footprint because the official fan club of AC/DC is over there in Australia. Man, they go crazy. We actually have more people listening in Australia than we actually do in the United States. We need to get it up a little bit. We're right here in Hoover, Alabama. We serve the United States of America and the world just like Southern Precision Staffing does, which brings you Live Wire Wednesday every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. They do wonderful work. Any type of staffing needs you have from construction to otherwise. Kai Gregory, his boy, is just unbelievable. I love Knox. He loves himself some AC/DC. Great family and a great partnership with Southern Precision Staffing. 205-682-2828. 205-682-2828. It's Southern Precision Staffing. Merry Christmas! You got 5 stinking days to go before Christmas coming up on Saturday. You love Christmas being on a Saturday? I mentioned the fact that I love this, having Christmas on a weekend, because a lot of people like to have it during the week because they can travel or do a vacation in and around. Ain't nobody working this week anyway, man. You're wrapping stuff up. It doesn't matter. And it's kind of a 2-for-1 if you're Catholic. So obligation, holy obligation, since it falls on Saturday, it's 2-for-1. So I don't have to go to church on Sunday. Just saying. It's kind of nice. It's Tony Kurre, the Kurre and Klapow Show. Dr. Josh is off today. He'll be off the rest of the year. He's over in the UK at the University of Oxford. His son is going to Oxford University. Kid is smart as a whip. Could probably be the president of the United States if he wants to be. He just sent me a picture a few minutes ago of a tavern he went to that was established in 1254. I'm like, what the hell? He's like, yeah, it started at 1254. I said, they opened at 1254? He said, no, they started at 1254. I said, they opened at lunch? He said, no, you dumbass. They opened up in the year 1254. I was like, what? You know, when you talk about the United States of America, you're talking about, we're 3. We're about 3-year-old. We're still holding on to the couch, and we're trying to make the length of the couch without busting our butts and falling to our knees, right? You talk about other countries, and they've been around for like thousands of years. Could you imagine having a pub here in Birmingham, Alabama, not Birmingham, England, that was open at 12:54? If you say it opens at 12:54 around here, we're thinking 12:54 a.m. It's amazing. Anyway, I hope he has a great time and has a safe time, and I hope he comes back in 2022. We've got a huge week of shows for you right before Christmas. Everything is fresh and new. Later on today, noon and 2, it's Dark Side of the Monday is what it is. Dark Side of the Pooch. Dr. Rab Stewart will join us from the Rossbridge Animal Hospital. We're talking pet care. It's unlike any pet show that you've ever heard before. We're not talking about fleas and ticks here. We get into it when we talk about belly rubs and kitties and cats and hot dogs and cool kitties. Noon and 2, Adaptogent, formerly GT Software. Dr. Alex Hubline has taken this show, and he's taken it to an all-new level. His analogies are wonderful. When we first decided to do a business show here on Tony Kurre Radio, and we're a classic rock station, I was like, I can't stop listening to the show. I love it. It's called Adapt or Perish. It'll go on from noon and 8 o'clock with Dr. Alex Hubline and, of course, Dr. Josh Klapow. They co-host the show together on Tuesdays. Wednesdays, Live Wire Wednesday, brought to you by Southern Precision Staffing for all your staffing needs. 205-682-2828. They're right here in Hoover, Alabama. They serve the United States of America just like Tony Kurre Radio does, where your handshake and your words still mean something, man. It is Live Wire Wednesday, brought to you by Southern Precision Staffing. It's the only show where we actually have more people listening outside of our country than we do inside of our country. I don't care where they're listening. I just want you to listen to Tony Kurre Radio. We had like 43,000 people listening in Sydney, Australia last Wednesday night because the official AC/DC fan club resides there. They love this show. Let's pick it up a little bit here, Americans. Let's get into it. Let's listen to some AC/DC on Wednesday nights. Thursday night, Blues Almighty. It's going to be Austin Hanks. He's always got special guests. Matt Sorum from Guns N' Roses has been on. Billy Gibbons has been on the show. Blackberry Smoke has been on the show. Rick Nielsen from Cheap Trick's going to be on the show. I've been on the show. It's a great blues show, noon and 8 on Thursday. And then the Damon Johnson Show, which is a show I co-host. Damon comes up with a theme. Last Friday we did our top 6 bands that aren't in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. One of those bands he picked was Dolly Parton. We played Jolene right here on Tony Kurre Radio last Friday. This Friday night, we're doing the first ever Damon Johnson Rockin' Christmas Eve special. It's going to be 2 hours of great Christmas tunes. Hey, listen, I love the Dean Martin, the Frank Sinatra stuff, the Beyonce. I love all that stuff. But these are going to be Christmas tunes you just don't get a chance to hear anymore on the radio. We'll do some Bruce Springsteen. We got some Billy Squier music. We'll do some Crash Test Dummies. We'll do some Stryper, some tunes you just don't get a chance to hear when it comes to Christmas time on Rock and Roll Radio. We'll have it for you. Noon and 8 is Damon Johnson Rockin' Christmas Eve special coming up. Noon and 8 on Friday. Also, don't forget, coming up here on today's the 20th, so Thursday, the 23rd, it's Damon's Holiday Hangout. It is going to be a live stream. He's doing a concert. Proceeds go to a wonderful, worthy organization up in the Nashville area. Go to damonjohnson.veeps.com. damonjohnson.veeps. That's VEEPS.com. damonjohnson.veeps.com. Tickets as low as $15, and against all your money is going to this very worthy cause. They got packages where it's like $4.99 where you can get an autographed guitar picks, autographs, all kinds of cool stuff. Go to damonjohnson.veeps.com. Speaking of Dolly Parton, this past weekend, she reset 3 Guinness Book of World Records. This gal's unbelievable. And I don't know why she's not in the Rock and Roll of Fame. She needs to be. At the age of 75, she now holds records for the most decades, 7 in music. 7 decades in music. Can you imagine? If you get 20 or 30 years out of one industry, you've done something pretty special. I've been super blessed that I've been doing this for over 40. She's done 70 years. The most number 1 hits, 25 on the Billboard U.S. Hot Country Songs chart. She also broke her own record for the most hits on the U.S. Hot Country Songs chart by a female artist. She's got 109 flipping songs, 109 hits. It's unbelievable. She also ranks second behind Beyonce for the second most Grammy nominations. She's been nominated 100 times. So way to go, Dolly Parton. Pretty good stuff there. Also today, I want to get into a couple of other interesting stories. And one's kind of deep. I'm not so sure I want to get into that. We're going to go into some trends for 2022. Virtual learning is one of those trends that I don't think is going to be going away. As a matter of fact, my kids who got out on the 16th aren't going back to school till like April. Their Christmas vacation is like 4 months long. No, they're going back, I think, on January 11th because they're getting 2 weeks off, and then they're having another week to do virtual learning the first week of January, which really is like another week off. You don't really learn anything when you do virtual learning. Some of the things that are going to be changing in 2022, and I think this is really interesting, and I saw this yesterday. It was totally bizarre. I don't want to say the place I went. I was down in Southside, but I'm sitting here waiting for someone to come up to my table to offer me a sweet tea, and this robot came up to my table. Yeah, this thing on wheels came up. I was like, what in the world is this? It was a robotic restaurant worker. Have you seen this? And usually Birmingham is about 6 or 7 years behind everywhere else. We're on it here when it comes to robotic restaurant servers. Staff shortages of restaurants are only getting worse. According to the National Restaurant Association, 3 out of every 4 restaurant owners can't retain enough servers. If you've been to a restaurant lately, it's tough to even get a glass of water. So last summer, a Cuban restaurant, Sergio's in Miami, Florida, introduced the newest member of their staff, Servi, created by Silicon Valley company Bear Robotics. They're saying now by the end of 2022, we're going to have a lot of different bars and restaurants with robotic servers. You like that? Do they still get tips? Do you tip a robot? By the way, the last time I've been tipping here lately, the 15% thing's not even on the tab anymore. Remember when you used to go to a restaurant and 15% was like you did your job? Pretty good. And if someone did a really good job, you give them 20%. If you're rich and you're at a Waffle House and they're hurting, you give them 25%. Now when you tap the little thing there on your little card there, you don't even have a 15%. It starts at 25%. Something else back in 2022, they have the highest resale value they've had in 10 years, minivans. Thank God I still drive mine. It's got 145,453 miles on it, and I'm going to drive it till the wheels fall off. Minivans are back. Since their debut in the 80s, minivans have never been cooler. They've been synonymous with soccer moms and considered the last resort for families not hip enough to afford an SUV, but minivans are back, not only because they're fuel efficient, you can get 25 miles a gallon on them, but you can pack a lot of people in. And a lot of people are wanting to catch rides everywhere because Uber and Drive and these other things are getting too expensive. Wanderlust dating. Now that I'm a single man again, this may be something I get into. Just saying. After sitting home for nearly 2 years, singles are craving adventure and are up for anything. Which means today's daters are craving more than dinner and a movie. They're willing to travel further than a cab ride can take them, and they want to climb mountains. Pre-pandemic daters would request a radius of 10 miles. Now they're saying anything within 100 miles is good for a date. Okay. Chances are, though, if you go out with a woman, depending on your age, they ain't going to want to go to a church service. They want to go climb a mountain. They want to go throw some axes. They want to do some paintball. They want to do some fun things. Vending machines are also going to be huge in 2022. Used to be only for soda snacks and cigarettes. Now a new wave of small business owners are using them to sell everything from $30 mini bottles of champagne to 45 types of hard pretzels. Butcher cut raw meat. They have a raw meat vending machine in Tampa. Northern Michigan recently opened up their 24-hour goat cheese vending machine. That just sounds nasty. Anything that's perishable, why the hell would I have a hard time getting a sandwich out of a vending machine because I don't know how old that bread is, unless they're changing it every day. But I don't know if I'm going to be getting no goat cheese or like milk. Like apples, you can eat apples warm or cold. It ain't okay. Anything that needs to be cold, why the hell would I want to get a T-bone out of a vending machine? Anyway. Something in 2022 you need to probably get right away. If you got a pair of Crocs, you're close. Rubber shoes are having their moment. Puddle boots. A bright and chunky take on the classic rain boot created by Italian luxury brand Bottega Veneta are flying off the shelves, and fans including Justin Bieber and Blackish star Tracy Ellis Ross, should I say. Crocs, the foam clog so ugly that Time magazine wants them named the worst inventions ever. I've seen sales climb 65% since 2020. I give it up to the Croc because it's been around now for about 5 or 10 years, and that's one of those shoes where I thought for sure, and they're comfortable. I've never owned a pair. My kids love them, and I love them because kids just pop them on their feet. They're gone. You don't have to put socks on anything. Average price, they're called rubbers. Rubbers used to mean something a little different back in my age. Are $45, so check it out. They're also saying that malls are going to have a huge comeback in 2022. That's good for the Galleria and some other malls around here. The pandemic very near rang to death for a lot of malls. Visitation nationwide was down 91% in 2020, but according to transportation data company INRIX, visitor numbers for malls in 2021 were up 5%, and they're expecting that to climb over 75% in 2022. Digital learning, we ain't going to talk about that. We're not going to do that. Something else we're doing a lot of, and Dr. Rab Stewart can certainly talk about this, is maybe something I talked to him a little bit later on this morning about, is pet travel. A lot of people are loving their pets. They love traveling with their pets. Not only is it getting more expensive to board your pets, but now pets are more and more a part of our family. I'm not a pet traveling kind of guy because I have 4 dogs. I ain't going to take 4 dogs wherever I go. Pet adoptions reached an all-time high, by the way, during the pandemic in 2020. And finally, something that's been up 83% in 2021 is the rise of popcorn. Popcorn sales up over 80% according to market research firm resources incorporating customers aren't just buying the microwave snack that's been around for decades. Now they're mixing everything in your popcorn. I had popcorn with M&M's the other day, and it was damn good. Whoo! They got Oreo popcorn now. They've got Cheetos Dust. They have vodka popcorn now. The Jonas Brothers and Scottie Pippen have started their own popcorn brand. Stephen Colbert created a 2-minute commercial for a small Minnesota popcorn shop, narrated by Nick Offerman, who infused, damn, this stuff is good. But if you love your popcorn, man, you're going to love 2022 because everyone's doing all kinds of weird things with popcorn. It's going to be great, so keep that in mind. Saw this interesting story here from the New York Post this morning. We've done this story. There was a kid, I believe he played either for West Virginia or Virginia football, and met somebody on Tinder, one of these dating sites. Went and met this woman. They evidently had a pretty good time, good enough that he wanted to go back and see her again. And then when he went back to see her again, they obviously wanted to take it to the next level, and then found out that it was a man. There was a beating that ensued. And that football player was not only thrown off his football team, but arrested for a sexual assault. And he basically said, listen, I should have known before we got to that point that it wasn't a woman, but it was a man. To what I would say, you probably need to ask more questions before you start taking your clothes off. Whatever happened to chivalry? Whatever just happened to say, so what do you do for a living? Or why do you have that bulge down there? So this woman who's a transgender woman, she's a man, but she acts like a woman, and she wants to be a woman. She has not gone through any of the medical procedures or testosterone or estrogen level test yet. Says she doesn't always tell men that she's trans before accepting a drink or even kissing them. Taylor Dow, who hails from Manchester in England, maybe Dr. Josh can see her while he's over there, opened up on TikTok last week in a video that raked up 2.6 million views. Dow, 20, was described as deceitful and a catfish and even guilty of assault in comments beneath the viral clip. In a follow-up post, Andrew Steele is watching. Good morning, Andrew. In a follow-up post, the social worker expanded on her comments, saying she's always disclosed that she's transgender if she either goes on dates with men or proceeds to engage in sexual activity with them beyond kissing. However, before that point, she said it's not their business. See a good-looking woman at a bar, you approach her, you buy her a drink, she accepts, you start having small talk. She said, at that point, there's really no reason to expose any skeleton in my closet. I don't ask you about your diabetic situation or whether you've killed somebody in the past. I'll learn that down the road. But in a club, like, what do you want me to do? I'm not lying. No one's asked me if I'm trans. I've got nothing to lie about. By the way, she looks like a girl. There's a picture right there. I mean, she looks everything bit of a woman. Just not telling them for my own safety. If talking to someone who's trans bothers you that much, that's not my problem, that's your problem, she said. I feel like it's not that deep. A kiss is a kiss. She goes on to say, if someone approached me in a club scenario where everyone's drunk, and I know not all men are okay with it, I don't feel like it's safe for me to expose everything about my life, so I don't say anything until I leave the club, and sometimes that's after a little tongue swapping. Someone is to kiss me, then I don't say anything unless I feel comfortable telling them, she continued. I don't think it's too far, and I don't see if there's any assault at all. People take it the wrong way. I don't get it. There's men who go out to clubs and get with girls who've got girlfriends at home. There's people who've got STDs. They have sex with people after a night out and don't tell them. True. Of course, if it was going to be sexual or serious, like meeting up and going on a date, then I'd certainly tell them. What's your thoughts on that? You got a problem with that? Be nice to know. I actually was in New Orleans for the 1992 national championship game when Alabama beat Miami's ass. And down in New Orleans, man, you never know what you're hitting on. I think this woman had a beard, but I was like, there's no way she's got a beard. She just didn't shave today. But dude looks like a lady, and she was pretty attractive. Now, I never got to the point where I was kissing her or anything, but I did buy her a drink. She didn't really have a beard. Well, she had a beard. It just wasn't on her face. And I said, let me buy you a drink. And after we talked for a few minutes, and I realized she had an Adam's apple, and she talks deeper than I did, I realized I was probably talking to a dude. And so I just asked the question, are you a dude? And she's like, yes, I am. Oh, yes, I am. I was like, okay, well, enjoy your free bourbon and Coke. I'm going to go on my way and go have some tarot cards read or something like that. Anyway, what's your thoughts? Let me know on Facebook. You can also let us know at Tony Kurre Radio on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Again, don't forget, coming up on Thursday, the 23rd, it's going to be Damon Johnson's Holiday Hangout. Go to damonjohnson.veeps.com. damonjohnson.veeps, that's VEEPS.com. Let me know if you have any issues there, but it's a fantastic site, and all the money's going to a very worthy cause in the Nashville area, which, of course, is where Damon resides. And then don't forget Blues Almighty on Thursday and Damon Johnson's first annual Rockin' Christmas Eve special right here on Tony Kurre Radio. This is going to be a show you can only hear here on Tony Kurre Radio. Noon at 8 coming up on Friday night, just in time for your Christmas Eve. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. Well, been there, lucky in love. It's probably one of the goofiest and funniest videos that I've ever seen. But it's funny. Lucky in Love, another great classic you'll only hear here on Tony Kurre Radio, and we're happy to give it to you. Mick Jagger here. We got some AC/DC, some Jagger, some Def Leppard coming up. Def Leppard show tickets went on sale last week for the Poison, Motley Crue, and Def Leppard show. Joan Jett will join them on several of their tours. You can go to TonyKurreRadio.net, TonyKurreRadio.net, hit our tour page, or just hit the Ultimate Rock News page, and you can find all the details right there on TonyKurreRadio.net. Also, don't forget to check us out on social media, like our pages, and get after it. We post things all the time, all of our shows that we do every Monday through Friday between noon and 8. And, of course, the Kurre and Klapow show in the morning is on there as well, so keep that in mind. Birthdays today. Jonah Hill turns 38. Peter Criss of Kiss turns 76 today. Alan Parsons of the Alan Parsons. We play Alan Parsons? We probably should. Wouldn't want to be like you. Turns 73 today. And Chris Robinson of the Black Crowes turns 55. We need some more Chris Robinson out there, don't we? Chris Robinson and the Black Crowes were right there on the cutting edge. Great classic rock. Remedy, Shake Your Moneymaker, right before the grunge thing hit. And then after the dirty stuff came through, they were still around, man. They still got after it. We were at Boutwell Auditorium for a Black Crowes concert. And, I remember that Boutwell Auditorium. Boutwell Auditorium used to have some killer shows now. I did Bad Company there, Bob Dylan, Brian Setzer. I mean, we did a ton of shows at Boutwell. And if you're claustrophobic, it's not the best place in the world to go to. But it's not a bad seat in the joint, man. They pack you in there, man. You're like a sardine can. It's killer. But Chris Robinson and the band did a meet and greet, and when I was on Rock 99, we had, 15 winners that went through a line. There was a table set up where all 5 members of the band were set up at the table, and you came by with whatever you wanted them to autograph, whether it be a poster or a CD or whatever. They would sign it, and it was before the show. And Chris was last. And because I was hosting this backstage party, I went first. And so I had a CD, Shake Your Moneymaker, and I had a blue pen and a black pen, Sharpie. And so I had the 4 members of the band outside Chris sign in black, including Chris's brother. And then I thought it'd be cool to have Chris sign in blue because Chris is the front man and he wrote most of the music. And so he gets down to the end and he sees the CD and he's signing his name and he goes, "Why am I using a blue marker?" I said, "Well, because you're Chris Robinson." And he just got so enraged and so upset. He's like, "We're a team here. We're all one band." I said, "That's cool. I mean, sign the black. I don't care. I just thought it would, because I was thinking about how I was going to hang it and have it framed, and I still have it hanging in the studio. And I thought it'd be really cool to have, just a little off. I could have had each member sign a different color. I thought it would have been really, really cool, which I've done before. I just was looking for a presentation piece because I knew it was going to be something that I was going to be talking about. It's going to be hanging on my wall because I knew the Black Crowes were killer." He got super pissed off. He signed it and threw it down and said, "We're out of here." And the entire band got up and walked away. And, of course, everybody that was behind me in our meet and greet got pissed off at me. And I was like, "Hey, listen, don't get pissed off at me, man. Chris just lost his crap there. I don't know what the problem is, man." You never see that with AC/DC, would you? TKR, Tony Kurre Radio. Good morning to you. The Kurre and Klapow Show from 7:30 to 9:30 again later on tonight between 6 and 8. And, of course, today at noon and 8 o'clock, it is Dark Side of the Pooch. It is a great little pet show. We've been doing this show, second longest show we've been doing Dr. Rab Stewart. It's a $10 billion industry. We just talked about 2022 trends. People are now traveling more with their pets than ever before. It's because we've been around a lot more. Our dogs and cats have anxiety issues whenever we leave because they're used to seeing us around 24 hours a day, and now they want to go on vacation with us. I have no problem doing that. I was always a big dog kind of guy. I didn't like them short little, small little yappers, and as I've gotten older, I like the yappers. I'm good with it because, for a couple reasons. First of all, they don't eat as much, which means they don't poop as much, which means they don't poop as big. And quite frankly, little dogs are kind of scared to be running out. My little dog doesn't chase anything that's bigger than it is. So my little dog ain't going to be chasing squirrels and rabbits and stuff like that. Deer, they're like, I'm good. My big dogs will chase anything. Golf carts, cars, rabbits, leaves, piece of trash floating across the road. So it's nice to have a little dog, and I don't have a problem with that. I hope you have a fantastic holiday week. We did a show last week, and I was talking about the list of crap that we all write down the beginning of December, maybe the first couple weeks in December. Okay, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this. And then you start adding some things to it like, I wanted to build that addition before the end of the year. Maybe I can start on that. And next thing you know, you got this list that's like 37 things long, and you're not going to get to 36 of them. Sending out Christmas cards. I did rake leaves yesterday for the first time in forever. My yard, you couldn't see my grass since like April. And so I started going through the list, and here I am this morning. I got like 15 things I got to get done today. I'm like, good luck. I got to take a nap and think about that a little bit later on. Ryan Seacrest. I think there's like 17 Ryan Seacrest because every time I turn the TV on, particularly this time of the year, I see Ryan Seacrest. I think he's a good guy. I think he does good work. He's all over the place. I know he had something with some exhaustion a few months ago, and I'm like, yeah, dude works 23 hours a day. He's got his L.A. radio show. He's doing television. He was like on American Idol. He's like, I don't know how he does it. So I think there's like actually 2 or 3 Ryan Seacrest. Anyway, he's going to be doing the Rockin' New Year's Eve thing. We're doing the Rockin' Christmas Eve thing with Damon Johnson. I'll take Damon Johnson over Ryan Seacrest anytime. And guess who's going to be playing? Good for them. Journey is going to be playing the Rockin' New Year's Eve thing. That's great. Normally you don't see a lot of classic rock bands in the mix, and that should just tell you just how relevant it still is. LL Cool J is going to be part of it. I think Ariana Grande is going to be on there.